Anyway, today it's my honor to introduce a man that I have known all his life. He has been very upstanding. He was a little mischievous when he was a kid, but he's always been a man of God. I introduce you my nephew, Alex Rogers, who served nearly 30 years on active duty. He entered the service as an infantryman with the 75th Ranger Regiment, served as a Special Forces medic, a Special Forces Intelligence Sergeant, and a Special Forces Assistant Detachment Commander and Commander with 3rd and 10th Special Forces Groups. He also served as an instructor to Special Forces candidates and led a team of seasoned instructors at the John F. Kennedy Special Warfare Center and School to train critical skills needed to win the global war on terrorism. He retired as a member of the command team for the Office of Spatial Warfare just a little over a year ago, and Raymond and I were privileged to be there at that retirement. During his career, he deployed over 30 different countries in both wartime and peace. He and his beautiful wife, Kelly, has raised 4 girls. 2 of them are with us today, Shelby and Sydney. I think you will see he is simply honored with the privilege of serving this nation we all love so much. I give you my special nephew, Alex Rogers.
Well, I don't know if I can read yours. I'm starting to get that disease too, where my arms aren't as long as they used to be. Well, Aunt Sylvia, thank you for that introduction, and thank you all for honoring me. I've got some notes here, but I'm probably going to freelance this just a little bit. Contrary to Aunt Sylvia, I was not mischievous as a kid, I promise.
I have another aunt here to verify.
Oh, well, that's true. She has an extra witness. I better retract that statement. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow veterans. And it is my honor to join you here today. Although I don't think I deserve that honor, to be quite frank. As I reflected on what I was going to say today, had some things that kept echoing around in my head, and this is going to be more applicable, I think, to this section of the room at some level. So y'all keep your ears on over here, okay? Political correctness in our world causes lots of trouble. So I will not be standing up here today to be politically correct. I'm probably going to say some things. I'm probably going to say a few things here and there that may get under someone's skin. I'm not trying to get under your skin to make you angry or make you mad. I'm trying to make you think. So if my provocative words harm you, come and see me later and I'll give you a hug. But that's not my intent here. So I read this book a long time ago. Some of you probably saw the movies, The Lord of the Rings. There's a quote from there that I'll start off with that I think, as I look around the room here, a lot of men and women will be able to relate to. It's from the character Aragorn, if you know who that is. He says, "It is not my fate to sit in peace. Yet we would have it no other way. If simple folk are free from care and fear, simple they will be. And we must be secret, so they may remain so." So what I feel like that says is the veterans and those men and women who stood in this room before, as these flags were coming in the room, carried a burden for everyone in the room, but more for the generation that is yet to come. You guys up here, I saw some other young people in the back. They carried a burden because they felt a call. And in reality, at any given time, any generation, less than 1% of the population of this country serves in the military. And I'm sure that for those that are with me in this room today, they wouldn't want it another way. And I, for one, can tell you that in some of the places that I've been and some of the things that I've seen, I don't want someone with me that doesn't want to be there. So as a veteran, that's something that I wanted to do. And I grew up in a different time than in my father's generation, you know, Aunt Sylvia's generation, and many of the people who I see out here today. Because I was completely a volunteer. I chose to do this because of what was in my heart. Many of them were in some way forced to do what they did. They were drafted. That was a time in our nation that there were a lot of things going on, and they did not get the thanks that they deserved. So, from my heart, to all the Vietnam veterans, welcome home. For more than 241 years now, our nation's veterans have underwritten the freedoms that we enjoy because of their willingness to do their duty. In some cases, they've even sacrificed their own lives as they carry out this burden of service. Today, though, we honor all veterans, not only those who have given up everything for our country. So let us not allow our minds to trick us into seeing veterans as only old and wise. And this is what I'm telling you young people today. There's a lot of old and wise people in our presence, but they're not the only veterans there. During every generation, our veterans are warriors answering the call and running to the sound of the guns to close with and destroy the enemies of our nation. And that's what we do as warriors. It's not a pretty thing, okay? It's not pretty, and it's not politically correct to take someone else's life. But that's what veterans have been called on to do. These men are husbands, fathers, grandfathers, and women also, who've sacrificed the most valuable portions of their very lives. They've traded anniversaries, birthdays, and countless other special events with their beloved families for hidden wounds that many of them know, and only they will know and bear. I can speak for and with them that in some strange and twisted way, this also is an honor to both them and in many cases their families, which they would never trade. This is what makes a veteran and their family worthy of our prayers for their stability and peace. This nation owes our veterans a debt beyond its ability to repay. And my fear is this fact is quickly waning like a new moon, and future generations will not understand why our nation's warriors hold to their ethos so dearly. As Americans, we all share deep roots of patriotism. But as veterans, our part in America's history strikes an even deeper chord. In my 29 years of service, I've turned many pages. As I think about that proverbial journal in my mind, some of those pages are dog-eared because I reflect on them often. Others are stained with memories forged with my brothers by blood, sweat, and tears. I was privileged. I was privileged to walk alongside heroes and to be in the room with many heroes today. We shared both darkness and light. And I cannot and will not separate that darkness from my memory because it makes me part of who I am. Now, a little fact I want to share, and this is getting to part of my point. And this is one thing about Veterans Day, it's not always happy, folks. And I appreciate the happiness of Veterans Day, but I have a serious thing to talk about. 20 veterans a day, and one active duty service person takes their own life. As a veteran, this is a big thing for me, and I know there are many of you who are probably already involved in organizations that support this, but these people need our help. These burdens that many of us carry and don't want to get rid of. But we need people to talk to, and there are people out there today that are hanging on the edge. And there are people who have a call to serve, but they didn't inherit coping mechanisms and skills, and they certainly weren't provided those by the inept civilian leaders that have put us in the places that we've been. And some of even our senior military leaders seem to not care during my service of 3 decades. So, due to this ignorance and often sometimes, as I said, these careless civilian leaders, veterans were not properly equipped, not just physically. What I'm speaking of is mentally. They were not mentally equipped to face the things that they face. So this idea now that is being called moral injury is what is leading and being cited as the cause for so many veteran deaths. So I would ask you to do some search on your new friend Google and look into this stuff. Restrictive rules of engagement, which I'm sure my brothers and sisters out there have experienced, place an extra burden. Because when you got a bad guy shooting at you and you can't shoot back, that's a bad thing. So these rules made by some general counsel or lawyer who has never held a gun or has never even taken a punch are what I blame for part, if not all, of this tragedy. These suicides have to stop. So I will ask you to get involved, and I know many of you are. Our veterans who've answered the call are hurting, and there are places out there to help. And there's one in particular called Save a Warrior, and another called Operation Warrior Shield that you can look up, and they provide excellent services for our veterans. So that's mainly what I wanted to share today, and again, I don't mean to be coming down and making everything so somber, but folks, this is the realness of being a veteran. So one more quote from my friend J.R.R. Tolkien. And for those of you who may not be familiar with the story of Lord of the Rings, in an early part of the book, they've gathered together this little fellowship of all these different races in this story. And they're getting ready to set out on a journey that none of them really understand what's about to happen. Sound familiar to any of you? So faithless is he that says farewell when the road darkens. If you are a veteran or you know a veteran and the road seems dark, it's my duty to remind you of something you already know. You are someone's hero. Do not let that moment of darkness overcome you and cause you to forget about the light. Because the sun does come up every day. God ordained that. And those moments of darkness will pass. I promise you. And your brothers and sisters around you want you to enjoy the sunshine with them. So to you I say, get your rucksack on and let's get back on the road. May God bless the United States of America and for veterans. Dia presso liber. Thank you.